kind of funny how you can be a content creator for so long and still not think to make content about certain things. Certain things in my life I really struggle to do because I want to make them content, or I think I should make them content, and I have to really work at like maintaining a balance there. But then there's some silly things that I do that just never occurred to me to make content. And I've been watching this guy lately named Any Austin, A-N-Y Austin, and he makes YouTube videos about video games, but not really in a way that I've ever seen anyone else do. He really focuses on the stuff that like really doesn't matter to most people. Like, where do the power lines in GTA 5 go? Where do the rivers in Red Dead 2 go? Just like random stuff like that. And he's got a series where he'll do like unremarkable places or boring places in games. And I love it. I'm super into that. And again, this is the thing that I've kind of been interested in for a long time, and I just never occurred to me to make a video. So I thought I'd take a little inspiration from him today, and we would do it in Raid, because one of the more aggravating things to me about Raid, honestly, the Raid window, is that almost every other PC game, mobile game I play that has a PC client, the orientation is locked to like 1280 by 720, and you can make it bigger or smaller, but it's like locked into that aspect ratio. I guess 16 by 9 is what I should say. And Raid is not. So every morning when I open Raid, I have to fidget with it, right? Because you can make the Raid window any size you want. So I have to do like that to get it just right, so there's no black lines on the edges, because that drives me insane. And I hate that. I hate that every other game locks the ratio for us, so it always fits regardless. I can set boundaries in my OBS to where it'll just always be the right size, and then I can make it as big or small as I want to make it on the monitor. And that's always driven me crazy about Raid. I hate it. But the cool thing about being able to do whatever you want is that you can kind of stretch the game beyond its means and see more than you're supposed to see. So if we go out far enough, we get to see the whole bastion as the asset that it is, as the asset that they edit. So we get to see a lot of stuff that we weren't really meant to see. And we can do that in battles as well. So I thought today we would just jump around the game a little bit and take a look at some places that we weren't supposed to look at, that were never really meant to be seen by us, and see what they did with some of these spaces. See if any of these spaces have anything interesting going on. So what I'm gonna do, this is gonna be kind of a weird one. It's gonna be kind of a weird one because I need that to be unlocked. That's what I need. And then I'm going to try to make it bigger in here, because I can't actually see it super well. So I'm going to try to center it. And we're going to do the best we can, okay? It's going to be kind of a funky one with the way I'm going to have to move stuff around, but just bear with me on it. So, yeah, I can actually see it better in the OBS window than I can on my actual screen right now, because I have to like pull it up so thin to be able to see. Here, let's do like this a little bit. And then now I can move around. Yeah, see, I can't really move it around too much though. Y'all still can't see everything I can see. So we're just gonna have to do like this, okay? We'll start here. So we've got like all these back alleys and stuff between these houses, but they're just kind of plopped down. You could see the edge of like what they made for the Chaos Awakens. Like there's a thing here. What is that? I wonder what that was before this was covering anything up. Looks like there's some houses down here as well. I've tried to do this way. I've tried to like sandwich it in this way, and it doesn't really work. So yeah, not pretty interesting. I want to come back and do this maybe when the Chaos Awakes stuff is gone, so I can actually see the ground and I can see some of the detail. Because you can see like the buildings we have up here. These are definitely just assets, but it looks like this is a little bit crisper. Like the stuff that's up closer is a little bit crisper, and then this back here is like, looks like old Nintendo 64 background stuff, you know what I mean? It's a lot blurrier and kind of stretched, kind of warped. It definitely gets a little sharper in the center. That's pretty interesting. And then I did mess around with this briefly. Here, let's do a boss stage, because there's a thing I've noticed. Don't be on auto. Don't be on auto. All right, we'll look at stage 2. Something I've never considered until I started messing around with this. A lot of games, not all of them, but a lot of them, that have these waves through the campaign, I feel like there's usually a little bit of a small black screen between each wave where it like unloads and reloads. But the thing about Raid that I've noticed is the entire stage is here. We're on the entire stage, and I suspect, we're going to see if we can't confirm this today, but I suspect, it's really hard to see, I suspect that the enemies are there waiting on us, because they're there as soon as we come through. So they've either coded that really well, where as soon as they would be visible, they spawn, or they're just loaded in the entire time. But really, it's just like a really blurry, I think, battlefield. I think that's supposed to just be like a big field where a battle's taking place, kind of like Siege, kind of like what's going on in Siege. And actually, we should compare these to the Siege stage. But yeah, I was trying to think of what the best stage I think would be where we might have a clearer shot. I think 12-3, or stage 12 rather, might be a good one. But I feel like we might have to do the boss stage. I'm trying to remember all the stages where there's not going to be like... they're all going to have some sort of divider, I would imagine, because I think all the enemies are actually there. I think they're standing there waiting on us, and they don't want us to see that. But I feel like if we zoom out far enough, maybe we can get around some of those. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. This one, maybe. This one's just like an outdoor. It's just like outdoor, right? Let's see. Yeah, this one's outdoor. So if I crunch that down a little more, I just can't quite get up there. Maybe they're not there. Let's see how far we run. Let's see if we can see them spawn in. I'll move you guys over like this. They do spawn in. They spawn in as soon as we kill the other ones. So they're not all just standing there. And then here, this doesn't look, unless those bricks are like right in front of where the dragon would be. So they do, oh, that's right, that's the boss stage. Let's do the boss stage. What's the one with the lizard men? That one might be a good one to check out too. So the enemies aren't standing there the whole time. They spawn in basically as soon as you kill the other ones. I think it's this one. Let's do a boss one as well, just to see. I'll bring both of them. All right, don't be on auto. Is the second wave on that bridge? It is. They do. They spawn in basically as soon as we start moving. Very interesting. Where's the dragon? Is that a paw? No, I don't think so. Yeah, all right, it just drops them in. All right, very good. But you can see too, like a lot of this background. And it goes so far. That's what's so interesting to me is like, if we crunch it down, look how much there is. I mean, the health bar is covering that all up. Let's back out real quick and do a stage that's not a boss. So there's no health bar like that. There's so much of a stage that I find that so interesting. We'll just do 3. And then we need to get up a little bit. Maybe here will work. Like no matter that's as narrow as I can make it. There's no black edge. Like in the Bastion, you could see what the whole asset was. Here, there's no edge. So it's like in theory, It's blurry. Like, you can tell it's just an image for the most part. But, like, some of this looks like you could walk around on it if you could get out there. If it was that type of game where you could control a character, you know what I mean? But you really get to look at, like, what we're doing here. This isn't even part of the stage. That's background. Because we're on this path. That's just background right there. How far does the water flow? Can we get a good look at that? Not really. I mean, it's even moving all the way up there. I don't know. I just think that's kind of fascinating. Like it's actually in a very loose way, of course. You know what I mean? Maybe y'all couldn't see what I was just talking about here. Pull this like this. I was talking about this. Like if we zoom it out real small, like that looks like that could also be a stage. You know what I mean? So yeah, like in a very loose way, this looks like it could be a world. You know what I mean? Nintendo 64-esque, but like still. Looks like there could be something. I do want to show you, I messed with this for like 3 or 4 minutes before I started recording. I do want to go to stage 12 because it's pretty cool. Yeah, I did stage 1 and stage 12, and then oh, I didn't even think about doing it here. So, all right, so like we've known it was a map, right? But when we're in our normal orientation, see, I've never really clocked this stuff. I feel like these are like the things I don't really pay attention to sometimes. I just come in here and I go to my stage. I've known this was a map. You know what I mean? That I've definitely clocked, but I've noticed there's shit here. But I don't think I've ever really paid attention to that. I've never thought about like there's a table under this map. You know what I mean? There's just stuff like that I think it can be kind of easy to overlook. The table goes out pretty far too. Of course, we got a candle. You know we got to have a candle. Some coins, the book. Table goes out far. Table's got little details on it, even all the way out here, which makes me think, like, did they get these... Are some of these, like, assets from somewhere? You know what I mean? Did they get this table here and plop it down, or did somebody make this table for this game? It looks pretty good, too. Considering it's not even, like, supposed to, necessarily. It looks pretty good. Here, let's do a... Let's look at this. This stage is really cool. I like that there's, like, so much going on behind them, like where they came in. There's also another wall on the outside here, but it's letting us see through it. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes if we get the camera just right, we can see the wall, so we come through that corridor. But there's even stuff back here. We would never even remotely... That's so interesting. Somebody put something back there. Now, I don't think that these stages are like... I don't feel like the game was an asset flip. A lot of this stuff doesn't... I don't recognize a lot of these things from other games. But, like, seeing it from this perspective, too, you realize that you could take this and turn it and make, like, a Subway Surfers type game. You know what I mean? A temple run. It's just a long stage, and you could just add, like, you could turn it more to the side and make it like a platformer. It's just a stage. And the cameras are just locked into these angles for the game we're playing. I learned a little bit about this when I was messing around with some game development stuff, trying to learn how to do a little bit of it. Played around in Unity and stuff very briefly, and it sort of unlocked this thing of like, oh, these items are like like we could spin the camera around to the left and see the other side of this stage, because there's stuff over there too, because it's a whole stage. We're just locked into this perspective, and we have a little bit of wiggle room, right? Like we have a little bit of wiggle room, but not anything crazy. But that's just because that's how it's coded. If we had free roam, we could move the camera everywhere, and there's going to be stuff everywhere. I just think that's really interesting stuff. Like lava coming out of this. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's really very interesting to look at. The same dead body, I think, is the last. So that's a little bit of a copy paste. Oh, and there's the edge. Here we can kind of see an edge, which you don't see a ton of. But you see it keeps going. And then just right off the edge there. But it's pretty cool. Lava goes out for a while. But yeah, they constructed an area for the stage. I don't know. I think that's pretty damn interesting. All right, what else? What else could we look at? We could do. I'm sure certainly there's some stuff going on in the dungeons. Iron Twins, I don't have any more keys, but like a potion keep. I think I forgot that you start outside. But look at that, like that for example. The castle wall and like barrels and stuff down there. That's so unnecessary, like theoretically. And then you've got this image down here of all these like homes and then we go in. Yeah, now we're inside. Stairs down to this walkway. Up there as well, but it's different over there. And then just like pits. Didn't mean to do that. All right, here, let's get through this way real quick. So it's supposed to be like a... I assume that's... Is there a turn there? No, that's just... I can't tell if that's supposed to be floor or a baseboard. Like, that's definitely just an image, right? Like a 2D image, I mean. But, is it supposed to be... Is it supposed to be giving the illusion that you can make a right after this pillar? That looks like a doorway. But it's off. Yeah, these look like doorways to me. Interesting how we can make stuff clip out if we look at it from certain angles. So there's just all this empty space over here. So like the outside, they put barrels down on the ground in a spot that we theoretically never see. But then over here, they've got all this empty space, and they were like, eh, we don't need to bother with it. Maybe because the camera's generally not straight back like this. Like it's... And much more zoomed in. So like there's no chance anybody will ever look over here. I don't want to wait. I mean, they should kill him pretty quick, actually. One would hope. I was gonna say if he'll use his A2 on his first form, we'll be done. What else we got here? Minotaur could be an interesting one to check out. Who needs scrolls? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So far, I think the only thing that we've been able to zoom out and see actual borders has been the Bastion. See, this just seemingly goes forever. It's nothing. Like, you can see that it's nothing. But it still goes. Whereas in, like, the Bastion, it doesn't. Which is kind of fascinating. So this is just a... What is that? Yeah. It's just a really wide corridor. I think it's pretty much the same up here. But it looks like it goes back for like a while. The smoke makes it kind of hard to see. But it looks like it goes back. There's just so much depth in here. Look how far back that like there are objects. And still pretty detailed. There's like shadows. Would love to be able to move that health bar. Like even way back here. I don't know how well you guys can see that. Like even right there. There's something. It goes back for such a long time. But again, that's more of just like a stage. I'm trying to see if there's anything that they're like the barrels in the Arcane Keep on the ground that like maybe you could angle your camera in a certain way. Here we go. Here's one that's kind of we're sort of like in a bubble or a cloud. This doesn't look like anything. It looks like our vision's being impaired from looking out of it. I don't know if that's supposed to be the idea that we're like in a bubble, or if there's just not much detail. I don't think I've ever noticed this before. Yeah, I don't think I've ever clocked that there was like something impairing our vision in here. Huh. Interesting. Oh, there's an edge. There's the edges. But we can still see the stuff that's supposed to be impairing our vision. If we got really far on here, it does get black. Not a ton of detail outside of the fighting area on this one. Honestly, not a ton of detail inside of it. A lot of this is like not even very well rendered. Although this is newer. I wonder if the old spider stage differs at all. I wonder if the old spider stage had more, and for the new one they were like, not bothering with all that. Let's do 20 since it's like definitely. No, same thing. Yeah, they really did just change the boss, didn't they? They really did just change the boss, didn't they? Sand Devil's kind of a newer one, right? Stop. This one has an edge. Quick. That's interesting. The older content seems to go out much further. Although I've never noticed the depth, how far back this seems to go. I've never really looked behind him, and there's quite a bit back there. So it seems like there would be some area to explore, but still not a very big stage. They did put some stuff back here, though. So like it's for the area they did design, it's decent, but much smaller. I suspect that might be the case as we get to the newer content. Maybe they like, because also That's not like a knock. They don't need to. They don't need to decorate the areas that we're not going to be seeing. It's not a criticism. It's just like when the game was older and newer. Well, you know what I mean. Those are both correct for the record, but I don't know. Maybe they hadn't figured out the most optimal way to do it. So we have these stages that just like go on forever. These images that stretch forever, depending on the. I don't know enough about how it all works to really know. I've done this in Arena in the past. I think Arena is where I figured out you could do this. I think I just accidentally like. You know, sometimes you accidentally click the taskbar once and then it locks into the resize and you stretch it all the way down. But this is where and every stage is different. So here we're like inside this, I guess it would be a tower. It seems like we're pretty high up. And there's like, there's definitely stuff out there. Probably just an image, but like there's a backdrop for sure. And then we go, we're just like on this tower that seems to just have a big drop all the way around it. Funny how this side ends and this side, it still looks like that's brick. I wonder what that's about. So we would ordinarily be like roughly here, right? Why does it feel like my camera's wonky? This doesn't look normal. Oh, I forgot I can hold left and right click and move my camera like that as well. Interesting. Okay, let's do that. Oh yeah, we can. What is that? Why is that even there? There's something right here as well. Oh no, that's just light. And maybe the back of the statue. Okay. Yeah, very interesting. I'll take my win here. All right, we'll look at one more thing. I don't see why this video needs to be insanely long. And then if you guys get a kick out of this dumb shit, then you can tell me, and we'll do some more of it. Like even in here, if we do like this and then zoom out, yeah, they just kind of made it like a cloudy. There is some snow back here. Is that something we'd normally see? Yeah, but only barely. Unless you come all the way to the edge. Another thing that... What if we do this? Does it zoom us in? No. I'd have to be able to pull down to really zoom in like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'll wrap this one up here. We've been going for about a half hour. If you guys get a kick out of this and want me to do another round of it, there's certainly other content in the game we could go take a look at that I think would be kind of cool. But I don't know. I thought this was just kind of fascinating. Kind of silly. So I'm going to get out of here. Let me know if you want to see more later, guys.